the most recent announcement from the WFCA was its partnership with FCB2B, the Floor Covering Business to Business Association, and basically an e-commerce vehicle to permit the flow of invoices and et cetera. Talk about that partnership.
You've had Aaron, Mitch, Pam, multiple people on with FCB2B over the years. You've been a very good advocate for this. We decided back in the summer, probably in July, I met with the WFCA Visioning Committee, and we laid out a vision of what are the components that will allow us to have the impact we need to have, not only on our membership, but on the industry as a whole. And one of the things we talked about was technology. And we noted that FCB2B, though it existed, was not widely adopted. Maybe more so on the manufacturing side and by some major flooring retailers, but not overall. And we decided to invest more in that, to step it up. We really had a decision to make.
And you've been involved in that for years and years.
We have. We put well over $500,000 just financially and not including time. And a lot of the major manufacturers have put in time and expertise, and we appreciate that as well. And then your membership dues, all of those things together are what has allowed this to continue to function. But it needs to be turned up a notch. We're at a place where, as Aaron calls it, a phase 2 that needs to come in. And for that to happen, we needed an executive director of FCB2B. And so I introduced you just a moment ago to Phil Zolan, who has come to us from Mohawk, where he was director of continuous improvement there. And Phil really gave us the opportunity for a fresh start. You know, we've had a lot of expertise through Pam Bowe over the years. She's done a phenomenal job. Pam has a lot of other things that she does, a lot of other responsibilities. Phil coming in gave us an opportunity to really have somebody focus solely on FCB2B. And he'll be going around and enhancing relationships, developing new relationships. He'll be asking for people to be involved and for a commitment for that involvement, not simply membership dues, but financially to help FCB2B get to the next level. There's no doubt, if you look at the trends, the big box stores have captured more and more market share. One of the things that they do very well is they speak FCB2B. And most retailers do not. Now, some good retailers do, but most do not. This is one of the things that's essential if we're going to continue to grow and have an impact and be vital in the industry. And so we must get greater adoption, not just at the manufacturing and distributor level, but certainly with retailers in every market, at every level. Single store, multi-store, 500, $1 million stores to multi-million dollar stores. FCB2B is vital, and we're committing ourselves to it as an organization to making sure this works by bringing somebody on board. And Phil will report up through Steve Abernathy. So we will manage that aspect of the FCB2B business because we believe it's that important.
My assessment, just from interviewing people over the years, really since this thing started, and the biggest hurdle in achieving critical mass, again, I may be wrong on this assessment, but having manufacturers who have bought into this, obviously, there is a system whereby anybody that wants to can do business with them this way. But if they were to say, okay, if they really wanted to turn the heat up on this, they could say, we'll offer you a discount of 2% for every order that's placed through this system. And I don't know the financials of that.
I don't either, David. You talk to somebody who's really a novice. This is not a primary language for me. I know enough about it because of our involvement and through some meetings that I've been at. This is something that primarily will function through Phil and through Steve Abernathy, who ironically was there at the initial meeting when FCB2B was established. So Steve will be back involved. Listen, I think everybody can turn up their level of commitment. And I've got to tell you, in the 2.5 years I've been in this job, there's a couple things I've figured out. We're really good as an industry at pinpointing the problem. We're not real good at fixing it because we all want somebody else to fix it. And the reality is, if we're going to be an industry that's vital, if the independent flooring retailer is going to continue to survive and hopefully thrive, then we've got to be all in. And that means you need to be a member of an organization who's got your back. And there are multiple organizations like that. WFCA is certainly one. NWFA, all the associations around the industry exist so that their members can be vital. But in addition to that, there's got to be a financial commitment to the problem at hand.
Well, and it seems like everybody gains from this.
They do.
The manufacturers can, I suspect, pull a lot of people out of the order entry department, the 800 number of call numbers.
Sure.
Certainly, the retailer can pull people out of order entry and so on. By virtue of doing this, you can physically have the salesman enter an order on the sales floor for that matter.
Exactly. And I
the
know,
latest improvements.
Well, Aaron Perner and Cap Carpet actually did some research on this and began to monetize what the solution can mean to you. And so we actually have some numbers on that, but typically people change for one of two reasons. Because what's on the other side looks so good, or because what's on their side looks so bad. And we're getting to the point on some of these issues, whether it be FCB2B, the independent contractor issue, installation, there is a pain for not addressing the issue. And I can't express this enough, and did not see it in my former life, but the cost of staying where we are is much greater than any of us realize. This industry in 5 years will not look the same as it does today if we don't begin to adopt and implement some of these solutions that are already out there. They're just not highly received by all the parties that need to be receiving them.
I get the idea from talking to a lot of the software players in this industry. There seems to be, of the last couple of years, a lot more interest
There is.
in people converting over, which, they need to make that step before they can get it at FCB2B. It doesn't necessarily mean that they will, however.
Yes, the software companies get this. They have been very involved in the FCB2B side, and I don't want to leave them. I'm glad you brought them in. I don't want to leave them out of the conversation. Some obviously much more committed to it than others in creating software that allows and to some degree requires FCB2B participation. But again, they, like everyone else, we need to step up the level of commitment, and then we need to help people utilize what's already been created by these software manufacturers. We've got to get better buy-in across.
Well, I know every year there's been new tools and new bells and whistles.
Yes.
And it seems like the last solution, I'm trying to come up with a buzzword that they use, and I can't recall it fast enough, but to make this thing interactive on Microsoft and so on, is something that gives it a little bit more sex appeal and would seem to attract a lot more people.
It does, and I think that's what Aaron's talking about when he talks about the phase 2, the fact that you can use this even at a point of sale to help close the sale right there with the consumer. Yeah, there's the practicality of it is there. Listen, the solution's there, it's been there, it's better than it's ever been. But again, the right solution without people buying into it has no value, and we just got to get people to participate.
So then the WFCA will be, and again, this is brand new, you just announced this thing as of yesterday when we were talking about this. So it's your intent to get more players on both sides of the equation here involved in this so you can build critical mass in a shorter period of time.
That's the whole intent behind hiring Phil, is to show our level of commitment. And I can tell you that financially, WFCA upped their commitment financially dramatically to make this happen. That's how important we see. Again, we're going to look at any solution we can find that makes the life of the independent flooring retailer better. The reason we picked the independent flooring retailer is we realized, and I realized from being on the inside to some level at Shaw, that is a vital arm to every manufacturer, every distributor, every carpet cleaner, every carpet inspector, every carpet installer. We all need a healthy retailer, and that's why our purpose statement centers around them. But again, the essential is buy-in on all these things that are available out there, and people being willing to commit to training, to FCB2B, to training installers. It's not just a yes, we agree there's a problem.
Yeah.
What we need to see is people putting some money in and having a stake in the game.
Yeah. Well, for the individual retailer, it's just a more efficient, more to the bottom line decision. It's not rocket science.
It is, but it's change. And no matter how bad what you're doing may be, if it's what you're used to, then changing from it becomes a little bit of a headache. But we have to understand it's a short-term pain for a long-term solution. That's what we've got to get beyond.
Now, there is a meeting, you had announced a meeting in April.
Yes.
In Atlanta, and I suspect it's a good opportunity to bring a lot more people into the tent.
Certainly, and Pam has been adding people. Dr. Knight Pambo has been adding members, and that's our annual meeting. It was going to be in the fall, and we were really up in the air about what the future of FCB2B was, and they came to WFCA and said, do you understand the importance of this? And I'm telling you, as we compete with the big box stores who have multi-million-dollar budgets, this is one of the tools that allows us to compete with them on fair game. And so we moved that meeting back until that decision had been made, and we've been able to move it to
I got you.